Iraq news highlights and points to ponder Saturday a.m. July 20, 24. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. A global technological outage has caused many sectors around the world to stop working, most notably airports and financial banks, today, Friday, July 19, 2024. But the matter was different in Iraq and most Arab countries, as well as China and Russia. In Iraq, the Civil Aviation Authority rushed this morning to clarify that the country's airports were not affected by the technical glitch in the global computing systems. While the Cybersecurity Center at the National Security Advisory confirmed today that Iraqi government institutions were not affected by the global electronic glitch. Kuwait, Lebanon, Morocco and Egypt announced that their countries were not affected by the global technical failure because they do not use Microsoft in their operations. They were not affected by the outage. Questions were raised about the reason for the system stopping in some countries while they did not stop in other countries, especially Iraq and other Arab countries. But by knowing the reason for the technical failure, the reason for that can be reached. The Microsoft outage was linked to a new update from CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity software company, and caused disruptions across a range of sectors, with stock exchanges, airlines and banks the most affected. Accordingly, and according to tracking data from technology companies, the outage only affected computers that use the CrowdStrike cybersecurity system on Microsoft systems. Which means that computers running on Microsoft's system, and not using the CrowdStrike cybersecurity system, were not affected by the global glitch. What is the benefit of Iraq joining the World Trade Organization? Al Monitor sheds light on the secrets. Money and business economy news. Follow-up: Iraq announced the resumption of negotiations to join the World Trade Organization for the first time since 2008, a step that may benefit the Iraqi economy but will take a long time. Al Monitor reported in a report translated by Al Iqtisad News that the Iraqi negotiating teams began preparatory meetings at the headquarters of the World Trade Organization in Geneva. And the Iraqi delegation included officials from ministries in the federal government and the Kurdistan regional government. While another meeting will be held at an unspecified date to review Iraq's accession to the World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization is an intergovernmental organization that aims to promote international trade. It provides a platform for governments to negotiate trade rules and disputes among themselves. Member states make key decisions. The WTO has 164 members who say they are responsible for 98% of world trade. Iraq first applied to join the WTO in 2004, the year after the U.S. invasion that toppled dictator Saddam Hussein. A working group was then set up, but there has been little progress since then. The group last met formally in 2008. An informal meeting was held in 2017, according to the WTO's website. The process has gained significant momentum recently. In January, a WTO delegation visited Baghdad to mobilize political support for the resumption of Iraq's WTO accession process. The discussion focused on Iraq's economic reforms and was led by Sakr bin Abdullah al-Muqbil, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the WTO and chair of the Iraq Accession Working Group, the organization said in a statement at the time. A basic requirement for WTO accession is consistent trade policies across the country, including tariff rates and customs procedures. Thus, differences in the tariff structure between the federal government and the Kurdistan regional government have been an obstacle to Iraq's efforts to join the WTO. The UN team for Iraq said in a statement that Iraq decided to unify the two customs systems in 2019, and the Federal Ministry of Finance finally approved the Unified Customs Tariff Framework in February of this year. Joining the WTO could benefit Iraq. According to a report issued by the Council on Foreign Relations in April 2023, the WTO has been largely successful in expanding free trade. The Council noted that the dollar value of international trade has quadrupled since the establishment of the World Trade Organization in 1995, and that average tariffs do not exceed 3%. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, there are also negative aspects to the WTO. The Council noted in the report that globalization and free trade have their drawbacks. These include the potential for economic inequality and job loss. The WTO has been particularly criticized for its application of rules toward China. The WTO is also struggling to perform its third function, enforcing the rules, particularly with China. Since joining the WTO in 2001, China has violated global trade rules by providing extensive subsidies to its domestic industries and stealing technology and other intellectual property. China has faced few, if any, consequences for its actions, the Council said. China has a growing presence in Iraq, and there have been significant Chinese investments in Iraqi oil and infrastructure in recent years. The WTO says it has helped facilitate poverty alleviation in developing economies by promoting trade. In September 2023, WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala told the Center for Strategic and International Studies, "Over the past generation, market-oriented reforms in places like Eastern Europe, India, and China, together with the open global economy anchored in the GATT-WTO system, have boosted growth and trade and helped lift more than 1 billion people out of extreme poverty." GATT stands for General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, the predecessor to the World Trade Organization. Iraq's trade is dominated by oil. Crude oil accounted for 90% of Iraq's $123 billion in exports in 2022. Iraq imported $67.1 billion that year, with the main imports being refined petroleum, broadcasting equipment, and cars. These figures gave Iraq a trade surplus of more than $50 billion in 2022, according to the Observatory of Economic Complexity. Iraq may have a long wait before joining the WTO. East Timor joined in February after 7 years of negotiations. Comoros joined at the same time, a process that took 17 years, Arabian Gulf Business Insight reported at the time. Trade participates in UNCTAD meetings on Arab countries' accession to the World Trade Organization. Baghdad, Nina, the Ministry of Trade announced today, Saturday, its participation in the technical meetings of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, in Istanbul, regarding the accession of Arab countries to the World Trade Organization. The ministry stated, in a statement, that it participated today in the technical meetings organized by UNCTAD in Istanbul, which will last for 2 days, to discuss the experiences of Arab countries in joining the World Trade Organization. The Director General of the Department of Foreign Economic Relations, Riyad Fakhr al-Hashemi, who represented the Ministry of Trade in these meetings, said, according to the statement, that the meetings discussed the outcomes of the 13th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization, the process of Arab countries' accession to the organization, and how Iraq can benefit from these experiences in its path to joining. The importance of trade and services in supporting the economies of Arab countries and enhancing their growth was also reviewed. Al-Hashemi stressed, Iraq's participation in these technical meetings enhances the experience of the Iraqi negotiating team and pushes it to move forward, and in an accelerated manner, towards achieving full accession to the World Trade Organization, as the knowledge exchange and experiences gained from these meetings will have a significant positive impact on improving Iraq's negotiating capabilities and achieving its economic goals. The statement indicated, this participation is part of the ongoing efforts made by the Ministry of Trade to strengthen Iraq's international economic relations and take advantage of available opportunities to enhance economic and commercial development in the country. Iraqi participation in UNCTAD meetings on world trade. The Ministry of Trade announced today, Saturday, its participation in the technical meetings of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, in Istanbul, regarding the accession of Arab countries to the World Trade Organization. The ministry stated in a statement that it participated today in the technical meetings organized by UNCTAD in Istanbul, which will last for 2 days, to discuss the experiences of Arab countries in joining the World Trade Organization. The Director General of the Department of Foreign Economic Relations, Riyad Fakhr al-Hashemi, who represented the Ministry of Trade in these meetings, said, according to the statement, that the meetings discussed the outcomes of the 13th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization, the process of Arab countries' accession to the organization, and how Iraq can benefit from these experiences in its process of joining. The statement added, the importance of trade and services in supporting the economies of Arab countries and enhancing their growth was also reviewed. Al-Hashemi stressed, according to the statement, Iraq's participation in these technical meetings enhances the experience of the Iraqi negotiating team and pushes it to move forward, and in an accelerated manner, towards achieving full accession to the World Trade Organization. As the exchange of knowledge and experiences gained from these meetings will have a significant positive impact on improving Iraq's negotiating capabilities and achieving its economic goals. The statement indicated, this participation is part of the ongoing efforts made by the Ministry of Trade to strengthen Iraq's international economic relations and take advantage of available opportunities to enhance economic and commercial development in the country. Iran reveals how it gets dollars for gas exported to Iraq. The Iranian Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee revealed, today, Saturday, the mechanism by which Iran obtains dollars in exchange for gas exported to Iraq, despite the American sanctions. Iranian Parliamentary Committee member Ali Akbar Alizadeh told the newspaper Edelat, followed by Sumeria News, that at the beginning of the 13th government, Raisi's government, gas exports to Iraq reached the lowest possible level, but with the redesign of energy trade, the relationship with Iraq developed, and a contract was signed to export gas to Iraq for 5 years. He added, in a settlement with Iraq, we also found a new way to clear with fuel oil, by replacing Iranian gas with Iraqi fuel oil, noting that, due to the activity of our private sector in selling fuel oil, we obtained a high income from foreign currencies, and in this way, we strengthened the clearing settlement system. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.